Hello and welcome to,
Hey, we like your pod.
and we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined as always by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, and our very special guest, Packers fan, Packers Low, Loren. Hello, welcome. It's so nice to see you. How are you? What's new? How was your week?
Hi, everyone. A lot is going on. Been very busy. I'm doing an internship right now and finishing up my master's program, so I have a lot of work to do.
Holy
But everything else has been good, just hanging in there, getting through the wet weather that we have out here in Southern California. It's been interesting.
You said you're doing a master's program. You're finishing up. If I may ask, what is it in?
It's in counterterrorism and homeland security.
That sounds amazing.
I know.
Wow.
Everyone's always like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And I have to like explain it or be like, "Yeah, it's kind of new." So a lot of people don't really know.
How did
That
you get
can
into
be a
that? That's so
Yeah.
fascinating.
So my family works in like the government, like the FBI. They've worked in the FBI, they've worked in embassies, they've worked in a lot of different places. So it's kind of been something that I've grown up with, I guess. And I always like shows like Quantico and 24 and shows like that. So I always was like, let me see if they even have this master's program to begin with, because I never had anything undergrad. I did something completely different in my undergrad. So I was like, okay, let me see. And American University offers it. So I was like, okay, let me try and see if I can get in. And somehow I got in.
I would say
Fantastic.
somehow. Lauren, you're clearly very
Somehow.
smart. So,
Somehow,
Amazing.
some of these people are a lot smarter than me.
Wherever we go, unless you're Aaron Rodgers, you're never the smartest person in the room. So
That's true.
Yeah.
But
he only thinks he is, to be clear. So
I
So
mean,
that's how you ended up in DC, but you're back in Southern California now?
yeah, so I've been in Southern California since Christmas. I was supposed to go back to
Okay.
DC, but some things. So last year, my dad passed away, and my mom's in the process of moving. So she wants to go to Florida. So I've been here helping her like pack up and get ready to go to Florida and decide where she wants to go. So
Gotcha.
it's just been a lot of being here to help my mom out after everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. It's good that you can be there to support her, but that's tough for
Mhm.
sure. But you're in Southern California with Dawn, I guess, then, because Dawn's
Yeah.
over in Carlsbad. So
Okay, that's maybe an hour and a half, depending on traffic where I am. Maybe
Right. You're
more.
up in Orange, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it depends, I guess, on traffic. You know how crazy traffic is out here.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That sounds about right. I was texting with Jamie before we went on. She's in LA. She said she's only an hour from me.
Yeah.
So I think she's like in Alhambra or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not
somewhere over there.
Yeah. So she was planning to come down on Sunday to pick up Pepe LaFleur.
She's getting him?
She's adopting Pepe LaFleur.
Yeah, last
It's
time I
been
heard it was in the process. So
it was in the process. It took about a month to kind of get together. And she's out there. She was last time I checked, she was at Petco buying some last minute things. I sent her home with almost everything that she needed, but with just a couple things that like I didn't get her food or yeah. So anyway, it's been a process and she's super excited. So hello to Pappy.
Yay.
Columbo would be proud.
I'm sure in the air, right?
And hello to Brandy. Live in Kansas. Traffic is great. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there you go. Pappy and Brandy are bonding. It's nice to see you both in the live chat. For those who are listening, as Matt usually says, we have a live chat going here on YouTube, so sometimes we get a little derailed. So, Loren, it's so good to see you. You are a Mad Packers fan, right?
Yeah.
But you live in Southern California. So, how did that come about?
Okay. So my first love is baseball. So I've kind of always been a baseball fan. My dad and I used to go to games when I was a kid. I was probably like 2 my first baseball game. So I've just always loved baseball. And then I kind of started getting into the NFL around the year that the Packers won the Super Bowl. But I didn't really have a team. And then finally, I guess during their Super Bowl run and their Super Bowl, I was like, oh, I like the Packers. And I was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is cute. So that time, that was like the biggest thing for me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to continue to be a Packers fan. And I've been a fan since then.
Wow. Because Aaron Rodgers is cute.
Yeah. But I
Jordan
mean,
Love
over
is
the years,
cuter.
over the years, I've started to like other things about the Packers. It wasn't
Right.
just Aaron Rodgers.
It wasn't just
Yeah, it was the community. Like I found a great community on Twitter,
right.
and I made a lot of nice friends and great friends. And even though I haven't been to Lambeau Field yet, that's still, I know it's gonna happen next year. I'm gonna make it happen next year. I'll be in DC, so it'll be a closer flight. So
Oh, that'll be much closer. I love DC, by the way. It's a fun city. I've never lived there, but it's fun.
I mean, I just love everything about DC. I love
me
history,
too.
museums. I'm very big into history, so that makes sense. The food is great to me. Some people that I know are like, the food's not that great, and I'm like, you just haven't been to the right places.
Right.
So I just love it.
So having started as a baseball fan, I do want to say happy opening day to you. Big day today. I live in Cincinnati, and the opening day is huge here for the Reds. They have like a parade and all kinds of like parties and festivities and stuff happening like that. And we were actually downtown for a little bit of that today. I had the morning off to spend with my kids because they're on spring break this week. But it was just it's so cool to see like a community come together for that kind of a thing. So for the team, what team did you say you follow? Is it actually the Brewers or something else?
The Angels.
The Angels, okay.
You like the Angels, okay.
Is there like a big opening day kind of thing for them? I'm not really super familiar.
No, so every opening day they go up to Oakland. It's like a tradition. So they're never here for opening day. Maybe like every once in a blue moon they've been here, but for the last like couple years it's been mostly in Oakland. So usually when they have their home games, there's always a lot of people because we have Ohtani, we have Trout. They're like the big attractions, and that's why a lot of people come out and see them. But then they haven't been doing that great. So at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, hopefully this year they'll do well. But a lot of us are kind of like, if they don't do well, that was not surprising.
So you said that you haven't been to Lambeau yet. I think that's the important part. So I'm going to manifest this for you here, Loren. Okay. Please. So this year, when you go to Lambeau Field to go to a game, like what is the team you'd most want to see the Packers play against?
I honestly don't like have a team that I want to see them play against. Like I just want to go to a game.
Yeah.
Like they could play like, I don't know, the worst team in the league, and I would be fine with going to the game. Like it could be a blowout and I would have fun just because I'm there. So I would say I don't really have anybody that I want to go see. I mean, I guess the Cowboys are always fun, but honestly, I really don't have anyone.
Yeah.
I would say is a good game to see. I was at that one this year. It was my first time at Lambeau, and it was an amazing game. Of course, that's where Christian Watson caught 3 touchdowns, and just like I can't wait for you to experience it. You know, I've only been there once, of course, but like because like the feeling of the energy of the crowd when something cool happens is like I can't even describe it. Like I can't even put into words. I can't wait for you to experience it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I want to go to a game that like a lot of my Packers friends are going to, just so like I can meet everybody. Like that's another thing that I really like. Like we're just all over California, not even just California, but we're all over the country. We're all over the world. I just want to go to a game where like there's a lot of us there, so I can meet everybody.
Yeah, That'll be fun.
That would be fun.
And Brandy in the comment on the chat asks, "Do the Packers have a large fan base in California?" And Pappy says, "I'm confused. No one here is from Wisconsin, and you all love the Packers." So the answer is yes.
Yes.
There's a huge fan base of Packers pretty much in every state, but definitely in California.
You can go to
Definitely.
any big city and find like a really good Packers bar with really vibrant culture. Of course, the one in the Cincinnati area was voted the #1 in the country, so there's that. But yeah, and to that point, actually, though, Pappy, Dawn and I both were born in Wisconsin, so that's part of it for sure. But definitely fervent fans living outside of the state's borders at this point.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. You hear a lot about the Packers everywhere, and I think that's a lot of why people become Packers fans when they first get into the game, because they hear, so they're like Packers. They're like, oh, let me watch Packers game, and then they get into the Packers. I mean, that's what I think anyways. And then I think also in California, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is from here, so I think that also helped, and that's why there's a huge fan base. And of course, there's people who were born in Wisconsin and they've come to California, like Dawn. So it's really just depends on who you are.
Right. The person that I started watching the Packers with, because I really wasn't a fan until I came out here, and it was only the last decade, she was from Connecticut and she loved the Packers. So you just never know.
Yeah.
Like, and she loved them, I guess, growing up. I'm not sure exactly. She didn't gravitate toward any of the East Coast teams. So you just, it's kind of like you, and you just sort of found your pathway. Are you excited about Jordan Love coming on?
Very excited.
Yeah.
I love Jordan Love.
I'm
excited to see him and see what he can do. A lot is said about him, and a lot of people not a lot of people, but some people don't believe in him. And I think it's an unfair reaction, because we haven't really seen him. Like, we've seen him for like one or two games, I don't know, something like that. And it's not, this is small sample size. Like, we don't really know who he can be outside of Aaron Rodgers' shadow. So I think that I'm excited to see. I don't expect us to be like the best, because it's a transition between Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, but I still think that he can be great.
Right.
Just that unknown that like it feels like Christmas. You don't know what's gonna be in the package. I guess when you're especially little and you don't know yet what you're gonna get as much, there's like this excitement, like what it could be. And I'm so ready to find out, and just to turn the page from the way how things had kind of been stagnating in a way. I mean, I'm just really excited about it myself too. And he's shown flashes. I'm very excited. Right with you, Loren. Very excited.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great. Who knows how we're going to do this year, but honestly, like you said, the excitement, I'm just excited for something new. Like, I appreciate Rodgers and everything that he has done for us.
Yes.
And I don't want people to think that I hate Rodgers, because I don't hate Rodgers. I just think that it's time for something different, because like you said, we've been stagnant for a while, and it seems like both sides are ready for something different. And when both sides are ready, that's time. Like, that's time to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Love it.
I love it. Well, that explains a little bit about why. Okay, so you're an Angels fan, and Jamie is a Packers fan and a Dodgers fan. So do you two kind of mix it up over baseball?
No, I mean, I think Jamie, she's a Dodgers fan, and like you said, but we talk mostly about Packers. I think that's what we've connected mostly on, and we talk about other things, talk about mental health and things like that we're both very passionate about. But I think that, I don't know, we just really don't talk about baseball. I don't want to say that Jamie's not a baseball fan, because I know she is, but I just think that she's more, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I think she's a little bit more into like Packers than she is into like
probably
what I've seen into like Dodgers. So I feel like we just don't mix it up about that. And I don't really see a rival. Like, to me, like, I like the Dodgers too. Like, there's some players that I like. They're not my team, but I'm
Right.
not going to talk bad about them because
Right.
we're both in Southern California, and I know that they're pretty good. And my dad also was a Dodgers fan, so I don't like
Mhm.
to talk bad about them in his honor.
Right. Right. Of course not. Well, and the Padres are fun. I mean, I've been down here in San Diego for so long and have
Mhm.
used to have season tickets to to the Padres. So even though the Brewers naturally, I grew up watching the Brewers, but so I have a piece of my heart goes to the Padres. I've been
Oh,
to
yeah.
lots of Angels games as
Mhm.
well as Dodgers. So, I mean, yeah, but I'm not really big on baseball anyway. So, although it was pretty exciting last year when the Padres got to
Mhm.
got as far as they did, yeah, in the series. So that was exciting. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
think the postseason is always fun. Like a lot of people, it's 162
Mhm.
games, so I understand people don't want
Yeah,
to watch 162 games. Like
yeah,
sometimes I don't even want to watch the 18 games of the NFL, all of them, because it's just a lot.
it
So
is.
I understand that people don't want to watch like 162 games,
Right.
and the way things change, like one week a team could be great, and then the next week they could just fall apart. So
Mhm.
I understand that, and especially if your team hasn't been doing well for a long time, you're just kind of like, I don't really want to watch them. But I understand why people like football more than they like baseball.
Yeah, yeah. I've been watching the Bucks. I like the Bucks. I like the Lakers too, but
Mhm.
I like the Bucks a little bit more. And tonight they played, but they had like 5 games in 7 days.
Ooh.
And basketball is intense.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So they were getting clobbered by at home, which is really unfortunate. I was like, what is wrong with them? And then I remembered, oh yeah, they just played last night at another game. They've been watching them play
Mhm.
for the last week. So yeah, I don't know how they do it in basketball, especially. It's so
Mhm.
intense. It's really intense.
Yeah, I think basketball and baseball are like I think I would say they're the like very intense because of how much they have to play. Like they have to play back to back to back. Like football, you
Right.
get a week in between, or 5 days in between if you're playing on Thursday. Um, Things like that's like a little easier, I think. Even though I
Yeah.
don't want to say it's easier because like playing football is not easy at all.
Right.
But I think that I just have a lot of respect for like basketball and baseball players.
For sure.
Yeah,
Me too.
absolutely.
Yeah, me too. So Lauren, what we like to do on our show is we like to read your Twitter bio, which
Okay.
is low, L-O, with little
Mhm.
turtle at Packers Lauren. And you say welcome, which is lovely. And my sports teams love to hurt me, which we
Mhm.
can relate to.
Mhm.
And I'd like to say you're also known for a couple of other really nice things on Twitter. One is I love always seeing your good night, my friends and foes
Mhm.
post.
Mhm.
I love that. It's just I'm not always on Twitter at night or whatever, and I don't always see it, but I see it frequently enough that I think it's charming and I love it. And I love that you say goodnight to your foes as well as your friends,
They're
especially on
around.
Twitter. They sure are. They sure are. And then another thing you used to do, and I don't know if you're doing it anymore, and Matt, you might have to help me with this, but it was almost like a secret
Mhm.
Positivity Friday thing.
Mhm.
how's it okay, there it is. Tell us about that. How does that work again? Are you still doing that?
So I haven't done that in a couple weeks because I've been so busy.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking of bringing it back because I kind of miss doing it. Yeah, it.
I love
I'm
it.
probably gonna do it tomorrow. Actually, now that
I'd
we're
watch
Okay.
talking
that.
about it, but I miss. So basically, what it is that like I post that picture of how you can send me anonymously like a person's at, and then I will in that thread I will post that at, and sometimes people can leave special messages if they want as well. And I just started doing that because there's so much like negativity on Twitter.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people are going through a lot, especially during like the pandemic, people were going through a lot. And even now these days, everyone is going through a lot. So I just decided that I wanted to do something at the end of the week, even though Friday is technically not the end of the week, but do something that would like uplift people. And honestly, like it had a really good impact. I would get a lot of
Uh,
messages, and people were like, "Thank you! Like this is amazing! Like." And some people would want to know who it is, but honestly, like I don't really tell people who it is. I like that anonymous aspect, that
Right.
you know that there's someone out there that is appreciating you. Maybe you don't know who it is, but at least you know there's someone out there. So sometimes I would, like, if someone asked me like directly, like for example, if someone said, I just want to make sure it's not this person because this person has been harassing me, then I'll say, oh, that's not this person. It's
Gotcha.
it's somebody else, but I don't tell them who it is. I just
Right.
really make sure that they know that it's not this person, because I don't want someone who's harassing them to use my page or use what I'm doing to continue to harass them. Like I've been harassed myself on Twitter, and I don't want someone to have to go through that either. So I think that I don't know, I just did it because of positivity. I like to bring positivity to people. Like I said, I know what people are going through, like maybe not specifically what they're going through, but I know that everyone has something going on. So I just want to bring them some positivity and be like, someone appreciates you, someone out there, they're seeing you, they know you're doing great, and they just want you to know that.
Loren, that makes my heart sing. I love that so much because, like, each time somebody sees their name, in the post there, it makes them feel good. It puts some like positive energy out into the world, and it's like these little like points of light that are happening collectively, become this really wonderful, bright source. And I'm speaking kind of metaphorically, but also kind of like kind of new agey too, I guess. But like it makes me so happy to think about like this collective like lifting of spirits that you're initiating with this, that you do so frequently, and I just love it so much. I've sent you a number of names over many Fridays, and if you guys don't mind, I want to take a second just like to reveal myself for a second and say all the people who I've put in for this. So
cool.
I pulled up our conversation history.
Go ahead.
So here we go. All right, here are the folks whom I have sent in for this before. So I'm going backwards chronologically. So Katie Sunderman, Dan Kotnick. It's like Dan Calloway. No, it's DK all the way. Dan Kotnick. Let's see, we got Dawn. You're in there. We had Joey Van Zimmern. We got, let's see who else then. My man Zach Laska. Andrew Mertig was in here one time. Sam Holman. Zach Laska again. He's a good dude. Jimmy Christensen. Let's see here. Katie again. Monty. We had Monty going on. Dusty one time.
Cool.
There's Monty again. And my man Todd. He's probably in here a couple times actually. Yep. Another time. Oh, Wendy. I haven't interacted with Wendy a lot lately. Wendy Hansen.
Oh, Wendy Lou.
Yeah. Katie again. And there you go. That's my list of folks who I have put into those before. It just makes me so happy to be able to like anonymously, until this second, anonymously, send out there just a little positive vibes. So
so great.
What I'm trying to say is, Loren, I love you for doing that, and I love that you do it, and I think it's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah, it also helps me feel good. Like when people say that, like I mentioned, when people say that it has helped them and has made them smile in a way that, like, when I'm feeling down, like I do it and then I feel better for making someone smile, for making someone's day better, for making someone feel better, because I know that, like I said, we all go through some tough times, and I just want to do whatever I can to make someone feel better.
Oh, that's great. Love it.
Great. I love that. And I love that it helps you too. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It makes sense. Well, and let me just grab a couple of comments in the chat before we go to your next question. There's a cute conversation going on here. Let's see if I can pick it up. Brandy said she has a used Aaron Rodgers jersey, slightly used, and she used it to dry her playoff lost tears for the last 3 years. Brandy, we love that. And Too Deep, sharing an experience about going to a Dodger game last summer. Rode the train, then took the shuttle from the train station to the game. They had a street fair and an outdoor concert by the station, and lots of fun. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And the train is really nice, depending on where you're coming from or going which direction, but it's usually right along the Pacific Ocean, depending on where it came from. Yeah, playoff tears indeed. Oh, why we're ready to move on, most of us, some of us. Just, we've tried it. We've tried it again. We've tried it again. We're good. Brandy, Twitter will take you down if you let it. That's right, but we're not going to let it.
Don't let it. Take back what the devil took from you.
Okay, back to Loren. Okay, back to your Twitter.
Okay.
So you have a little turtle next to your to your nickname. Do you go by Lo or Loren? More.
Loren.
Okay.
Not a lot of people call me Lo. I guess Lo on Twitter, but like my friends just call me Loren.
So tell us about this turtle. Is there a little message behind that turtle?
Honestly, no. I just like the turtle. Like sometimes I switch it up. Like a couple months ago, I think I had a black heart, and like sometimes I just like to switch things up. Keep people guessing.
It does. It made me guess. It made me wonder. It's like, do you have like an affinity toward turtles for some reason? Frogs.
Just like turtles.
All right.
Just like turtles.
Okay. So how much time did you spend in DC? Was it a whole year or just one semester or 2 semesters?
So my program is all online. So I don't have to like be in DC if I don't want to. I spent I went there at the beginning of the summer, and then I was planning on staying until the end of the year, but then my dad passed away. So I had to come back home, and I was at home helping my mom with everything in the aftermath and everything like that. And then I went back to DC in the fall, and I stayed there until December. And then I was, like I said, I was going to come back to DC, but I needed to help my mom. And then I got COVID. So that was horrible. And I've just been super busy, and I started my internship, which is you can go to the office or you can work online. So right now I'm doing the whole online thing, and it's been good, but I do miss DC. I'm ready to go back. I'm going back soon because I'm graduating. So I'm going to go walk, and I need to be back.
Oh, nice. Is your mom going to watch you graduate?
Yeah, she's coming with me. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool. So while you were there, did you catch any drift about the Washington Commanders team or any of that stuff going on in DC with
Honestly, no. I feel like the Commanders are not like they're a big thing, but they're not. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like no one is like really talking about them on the streets or like a lot of people are talking about the Capitals because I live with my aunt, and she lives literally right across the street from Capital One Arena. So every like Capital game, I would look downstairs and there'd be tons of people with their Capital jerseys on. Or or when the Wizards were playing, there'd be a ton of people with their Wizards jerseys on. So honestly, I feel like hockey and basketball are more popular over there, if you could say. I know a lot of people like go to the baseball games, but that's mostly like when the Braves are in town or when a different team is in town. Like that's big. I don't really see like that many people. And the Commanders, like I said, I didn't really hear that much about them when I was there, but I know they have a lot of drama going on.
They do.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Holy cow. Yeah. I'm sure they have like their old crusty diehard fans like every fan base does, but like they haven't been a relevant team. Like I don't even know when the last time like they were relevant. I can't think of a better word than that. I mean, I think the last time we really even thought about them beyond the scandals and stuff would be like when Kirk Cousins came off the field with you like that? You like that? Yeah. That was like a moment for them. And since then it's been like, I don't know, it's just the scandals. So I can see why that wouldn't be as big a deal.
Yeah, and their stadium's not in DC, it's in Virginia. So that's another thing. Like in the downtown DC area or like on the outskirts of the DC area, no one's like you have to take the metro, which takes like 40 minutes to get there. So a lot of people, I just don't think people are that, plus all the scandals and things like that. I don't think people are that into football over there. I would say they're more into hockey, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So probably their fan base is more Virginia. I mean, I know their fan base is Virginia based as well, but it was this DC attorney general from DC who actually is suing them. So it's just kind of interesting how they're considered the DC team, but
yeah, a lot of the teams like have stadiums in like Virginia or
Right.
like outside
Out.
the DC
Right.
area. Yeah,
Right.
but they're considered DC teams.
I think that's such a
Exactly.
strange thing about so many teams. Like both of the New York
Mhm.
football teams, well, both the New York City football teams, that is, so not Buffalo. Their stadium's in New Jersey. It's a whole different
Mhm.
state entirely. Like, how does that even work? I think it makes a big difference that, you know, for the Packers, that Lambeau's like right in the middle of the city, right in the community, and
Mhm.
that's
It's
one of the things
cool.
to love about the team right there. Yet another one of the things to love about the team.
Another one of the many, many things to love.
Many,
You're
many,
gonna
many.
love going to Green Bay and just seeing that whole vibe because it's quite different. It's quite unique.
No,
There's
I'm
another
gonna
team
go
though
for
that,
sure.
yeah. There's another team that's like that, isn't there? Is it that's right in the middle of the city?
Wrigley Field's like that.
Wrigley,
Cubs.
Red.
Yeah, there's
Sox?
another one though. I'm thinking. I can't think of which team it is. Anyway, not important. Not important.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so in the NFL, do you have a second team to root for besides the Packers? Or are you Packers all the way, 100%?
No, I'm Packers all the way.
Okay.
There's no
So
other
Packers,
team.
Angels.
Other team has caught my heart. Like I have
Yeah.
players that I like from other teams, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I follow any other teams.
Mhm.
The Packers are literally everything to me.
Do you participate in the mock drafts or any of that? Watch the
No,
draft?
it's too complicated. For me, it's too complicated. Like I love football. I don't want to call myself a casual fan because I'm not. Like I watch the games and like I know what's going on, but I'm not really that crazy,
Right.
I guess. I
Yeah.
don't want to say people who do mock drafts are crazy, but they're very into it. And honestly, I just don't have the time. But I watch the draft and like
Mhm.
talk about it. And I know who's coming out. I just don't make my own. And I did it once actually. And then we didn't get who I wanted. And I was disappointed. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. So
Yeah, and draft
I
season
was
is
like,
crazy, right?
I took all this time to do it,
Mhm.
and then they didn't even get who I wanted. You know what? I'm never doing this again.
It's such a weird time to be of the, you know, of the cycle of the year to be listening to like content, because so much of it is like, here are 15 more names that like are not going to stick to you,
Mhm.
except for a couple maybe, and then hear them again like in another podcast then next week. And so like for the people who are really into it, they got their spreadsheets and they're like grinding tape, like that's amazing, and I have all the respect for the people who do that. Like I'm not gonna be one of those people ever, but I do appreciate the, you know, those folks' efforts to educate the rest of us. But yeah, no, it's a lot. It's like a fire hose of information to try to take in, and maybe I could name at this point, after weeks of listening to like, you know, draft content, like 20, 25, you know, of the people who are projected to go in the first 2 rounds. Like maybe I could get that many. It's just so much, so much.
It's a lot. I haven't started. I started cramming yesterday, so I can't say I've been listening for a few weeks. I'm just like, I wasn't ready. It just numbs my mind until until football starts or until practice starts or
So
something.
much.
Something happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so and Brandy Lewis says what we're all thinking here. The
Mhm.
draft is like a list of presents you never get.
Why would you?
Which is
I
true.
mean, why would you like do all that and you know you're never gonna get it? I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I like it because by familiarizing myself
Yeah,
with ones that we want, and then even if we don't get them, I can see where they go and kind of follow how they do, and I find a
that's
little
true.
connection with the new
Yeah.
players. Just a
Yeah,
little
I
more
do that
invested.
with USC players because that's my favorite college team.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I follow like them and where they go. But
Yeah.
besides that, I'm just not really, I don't know, I just have a lot going on.
Yeah,
that
right.
it's just been hard to,
Okay.
you know, do that. And like I said, I was disappointed that one year and I don't like being disappointed. So
Mhm.
No.
I try to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah,
Well, I
why
think
set yourself up for
Mhm.
sadness?
that's right. I think the amount of focus and bandwidth that's required to stay like on top of stuff during the season with your own team is not nothing.
No.
But compared to how much you would need to like really understand what's happening, the draft is so much bigger. And yeah, it's hard to have the time and the bandwidth for all of that. It is.
Yeah,
Right.
I give a lot of credit to those people that can do that.
Yes.
I know they're very into football and NFL, and that's wonderful. I wish I could be like that, but my master's, and it's just a lot. So it's just been hard to keep. Even last year, like, I know I've been talking a lot about my dad passing away, but it definitely changed a lot of things, and it was really hard time. So I just didn't have the bandwidth last year to be so into like the NFL like I normally am.
Sure.
And I don't know, it's just a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things we love to ask our guests, and this is our final question, we love to finish off with our questions before we get our superlatives going. One thing you love most about Packers Twitter, and one thing you would change if you had the power to change it.
Okay. One thing I love about Packers Twitter is how it feels like a community. Like I've said, I've met a lot of people off of Packers Twitter, and I feel like they're my friends, they're my family. Like we don't talk all the time, but I know that like if I ever need anything, they'll be there for me. If I ever need someone to talk to, they'll be there for me. And I hope they understand that it's the same back with me. And I love that like we pick each other up. And when someone is talking out of pocket to us, a lot of us are like, you know what, we're going to defend you. Like, that's not right. You shouldn't be saying that person shouldn't be saying those things to you. So I like that. What I would change is I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like when it comes to opinions, sometimes people are very harsh when they don't agree with your opinion. I feel like that's with a lot of fan bases. So I'm not saying the Packers are bad at this or whatever. Packers fan base is bad at this. But I do think that, especially during this time with like Aaron Rodgers being traded, well, he hasn't been traded yet, but talking about being traded, and last year with Aaron Rodgers, I see a lot of people use like things that aren't sports based to talk bad about people. Like they use people's like weight or like looks or things like that to be mean to them. And I don't understand why people do that. I understand that people love sports, and to some of them it's like something that they can look forward to. And I understand being disappointed or not agreeing with someone's opinion, but I don't think that you should be using things like a person's weight or their looks or some things that they can't really control, that or some things they can't change, to be talking bad to them just because you don't agree with their opinion about a player or a team or whatever. Like to me, it's, I don't want to say it's just sports, but in a way, when I see that, I feel like we shouldn't be talking like that to other people. It doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
So I would say that would be something I would change.
Both your like good and bad things that you talked about both touched on like issues of bullying. How you're talking about like the positive is like people come to defend each other, which is so beautiful. I feel like people haven't really, because we ask all our guests this question, and I don't think that's really been a thing that's come up as much. So I think it's such a good point, Loren, that like we got each other's backs. You know, people will come to defend each other. And yeah, the idea that people, if they can't back up their opinions, they're going to go towards like attacking somebody like on a personal level. Like that's not what this is about. Like we're all fans of the same team, and like we're on the same side here. So like, don't get nasty like that. You hate to see it. It's ugly.
Yeah.
Like we have, sorry, Dawn, but like, yeah, we have different like opinions and different things. Like, why do we need to be so nasty towards each other? Like you said, we're fans of the same team. Even if we see things a little differently, there's no reason to be like saying these mean things to someone, especially people you don't know. Like, I mean, you shouldn't be saying that to anybody, but I find it crazy that you're telling these things to people you don't know.
Yes.
That's what I don't like.
It's terrible. Don't know what you're going to say.
Yes.
I was just agreeing.
Sorry, I like cut you off.
Not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. I was just saying, yeah, I agree. But I think by being positive and doing the things that you do and elevating the conversation, we are making a dent in some of the more negative things. I think I see it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I don't spend a ton of time on Twitter. Yeah. So I could be just kind of a Pollyanna about it. But it does seem like, yeah.
No, I think that's a little true. But I also think there's people that are always just going to be that way. I've learned for my time on Twitter to just try to ignore it. When it's towards me, when it's towards somebody else, I get very upset. Not very upset, but I get upset because I don't know. I just don't want people to feel bad about themselves, especially over a sports opinion, like over anything really. You shouldn't be saying those things to somebody that you don't know or anyone, in my opinion.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Brandy's bringing a bit of a levity to the conversation here. And she says, why do that to each other? That is what Bears fans are for. Just kidding.
I mean, Bears fans were very mean to me when we lost.
Oh, really?
Last year. No, not last year. Was it last year? Yeah, when we lost against the 49ers. They were attacking me and saying mean things. Yeah.
Yeah, not cool. Not cool.
And it's like, I'm already so upset that we like are out of the playoffs. Like, why are you going to keep attacking me like that? I don't even know you. Didn't even follow me. So it's just, it happens with everybody. It's not just Bears fans. I know a lot of very nice Bears fans and know some nice Vikings fans, some nice, and things like there's nice people in all fan bases, but there's also the opposite is also true. There's some very nasty people in all fan bases.
Right.
Absolutely. I've met some really great Bears fans on Twitter. I met one nice Vikings fan. She's amazing. So it's a good start. One nice Vikings fan.
One. I feel like a lot of people talk bad about like the Bears fans, but to me, like Bears fans are nicer than Vikings fans that I've seen
in my experience.
So I don't agree with that statement that Bears fans suck.
Experience as well. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, we love that. And I have caught a little bit of that from other guests talking about how it's nice to know that Packers Twitter has your back when you're out there, and I have heard that a little bit before, so that's kind of cool. Hopefully I'm never going to need that. If I spend as little time as possible on Twitter, hopefully I won't be attacked. And maybe I have been, and I just don't know
Aaron Rodgers. Then you might.
I try really hard to stay out of the fray. So it's time to talk about our superlatives for the week. So why don't we do round robin? Like we'll start with Loren, Matt, and then I have a few. Matt, do you have a few?
Lauren, I got 3. Yep.
All right. So Loren, what is your first superlative that you're going to bring to our audience this week?
I will tell you in 1 second.
Okay. She's looking.
I'm making sure. Okay. I got it. I'm good. Right. Okay. So I said best tweet. So my best tweet was from Aaron. By the way, it's Aaron's birthday today, so happy birthday, Aaron.
Definitely going to mention that.
Absolutely. Happy birthday to her. And her tweet was basically talking about how the GMs from both the Jets and our GM were trying to negotiate the Aaron Rodgers trade for the last month. And it's a video of Doctor Strange fighting, and I thought that was super funny how they're like how she just connected it. I love Marvel so I just really like that. To me, that was great, and she always has funny tweets. Like she does. I always love her tweets, so that's why. And I wanted to do something Packersy because my next two superlatives are not Packers related, so I wanted to do something like that.
Awesome. I love it. We're a big fan of heroin. Aaron Ellis on our show. When you first said Aaron, I was thinking Aaron Rodgers.
No, Aaron. Oh yeah, I know it's South State, right? But I know Aaron Rodgers.
Matt and I were like
Aaron Ellis.
Yeah. Aaron Ellis, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. That's beautiful.
We talk about her so much on the show that there have been weeks I've just called the show, "Hey, we like Aaron." So glad you brought up the fact that it's her birthday. I was gonna spoiler alert, she'll be part of my third superlative tonight. But happy birthday to Erin. Hoping she's having a great day. Nice. Yeah, that was her tweet with the Dormammu have come to bargain.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome. I love that. All right. I'll do my first one then. All right. So of course, the big news of the week for Packers fans was at the the meetings that the coaches and the general managers are at. And so there was kind of like the reactions to Goody's press conference stuff and the reactions to Matt LaFleur's. I feel like that was kind of like what was happening in the news cycle this week. So I have one to kind of relate to both of those. So my first one is best reaction to Gutekunst's press conference. And so this is just actually like much briefer than what all this lead up to it was, which is simply a tweet that Justice Mosqueda put out there. Simply, because he's talking about Gutekunst is giving kind of his side of how he's trying to contact Rogers and kind of clapping back a little bit, like in a very diplomatic but very much like, look, man, this is what happened kind of way. So, okay, anyhow, the tweet, simply, brevity, it was, Goot just stripped Rogers a new inner circle.
Oh, that
Killed me.
That was good. That was good.
That one was good, yeah.
Justice Mosqueda. He's a genius.
That was funny. Very good. Oh, it's my turn. It's my turn. That was very good. I'm kind of still laughing about that.
I didn't pass it off to you really clearly, so.
I am going to start with my last one first. It's most arrogant. This goes to Oliver Connolly from the Read Optional. He has a subreddit. It's a great follow on Twitter as well. Yeah. The links for everybody will be on all of these, will be in the show notes when we're done. And so he did an article entitled Jordan Love Wants to Be Great, and Will He? But one of the things I really appreciated about the article, there's a lot. It's a nice article. It's a nice long article. Shoot, now it's not letting me read it again. Okay, hold on. Sorry. It's because it came in my mailbox and I clicked on the article and it wants me to pay for a subscription. Sorry, you guys. So he had a great twist. And it's that, and the article and the link will be in the show notes, but not my email. Okay. And he said, being emotional in sports is easy. Hanging on to Eli Manning or Ben Roethlisberger or yes, Aaron Rodgers for an extra year or two is easy. And then he goes on to say, being cold and calculated is hard. Kicking a Hall of Famer out of the building while they still have a couple years left at the top level is cold, calculated, and necessary work. And he said, this is how the Packers have been able to sustain a championship level of success across 3 decades. I think people need to hear this more. And then he says, in moving on to love, and it's a long article, but this is the part I really appreciated. And moving on to love, Green Bay will try to do the impossible to contend for Super Bowls year in and year out in 4 successive decades with 3 different quarterbacks. Don't you just get excited reading this? I love it. So he says, it's almost an arrogant position. Scratch that. It is arrogant. What team in its right mind believes it can sustain high-level Hall of Famer caliber quarterback play for 30 years? And so that's just part of the article. It's a great read. It goes on, but I loved how he brought it into cold, calculated, and arrogant. And we love that about the Packers. So
yeah, at first, Dawn, I thought you were calling Ollie Connolly arrogant. I was like, wait, what did he do? Like, he's an awesome writer. So, you reeled this in there. I like it.
Reeled it in. Yes.
He's such a good writer. He is a reoccurring guest now on Mina Kimes' show that she does. Yeah, Mina Kimes with her co-host, her dog Lenny, and yeah, his writing and then the way he speaks on the show, so smart, such a good dude out there. So, Loren, do you ever read any of his stuff? Have you seen any of his stuff?
I haven't, but now I want to read that article. So I think
it's a good article.
Yeah,
and I meant it. You're reminding me, Matt. Sorry. I was going to mention his bio because I don't think we've ever talked about Oliver Connolly on our show before.
We have. That's okay. Go for it.
We probably have.
It's
been a while. It's probably been a while. Sports and culture writer. Currently The Guardian, free agent for hire. Previously NFL /CFB scout, recruiting analyst, X's and O's, what writer nerd. So he's got some writing chops.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, I've talked about him twice before, but I don't expect you to know that off the top of your head, Don. So no shade when I say that. But no, yeah, he's fantastic. He's fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and read that. That's awesome.
No, definitely go check it out.
Yeah. All right. And so, Loren,
Okay.
your next superlative, please.
Okay. So big news this week, especially for Ravens fans. Lamar Jackson, he's requested a trade. So I said, worst football news, depending on who you're a fan of. So obviously the Ravens are Ravens fans are very upset, understandably. And my friend, he was like worried about the Patriots getting him, even though now I know that it come out the Patriots said they're going to stick with Mac Jones. But I thought it was funny how different fan bases are like either super happy and thinking they're going to get him, or like super upset because either they want either they're the Ravens fans or they're like worried that rivals are going to get them. So I thought that that's kind of funny to talk about and like to think about how different news impacts different sports news impacts people differently.
Right.
So,
Right.
When you have like the sweepstakes for like a hot player, and people are like, oh, my team gets them, and yeah, exactly. It's what do you think's going to happen with that? Where's Lamar going to be playing? Because he can't not be playing. He's amazing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I hope it's not any of our rivals, but not that I think it will be, because I think all of our rivals have QBs that they're sticking with. But at the same time, like, I'm excited to see where it goes. It's to see where he goes. It's gonna be like an interesting, just to see how they're gonna handle that, or what they're gonna do with him.
I still think they're gonna keep him. They're gonna pick him up. They're
think
gonna figure it out.
But I think so, but it's not good. Like, he already wants a trade, so it's not a good working relationship. And if they were smart, they should have been smart by
the whole thing
resigning him into a long contract. But since they didn't do that, and they made dumb decisions. I think now they kind of have to think like, what's the smart thing to do here? Because he obviously is upset and he doesn't want to really play with us right now. So what can we do?
Right. And he's also injured. He's had a lot of injuries too. So and part of it is his decisions too, as far as not taking representation. Yeah, and it's very complicated, and it's unfortunate. And I hope he doesn't. I mean, I imagine he's got some kind of a career, but it's kind of.
I feel like I would feel bad if he didn't, like if this doesn't work out, and he continues to be injury prone.
Right.
Right. I'm rooting for him, and I think this is one of the most fascinating offseason storylines we have. Like, where is he going to end up, and how's it going to look? And absolutely riveting. Yeah. All right. Should I move to my next one then?
Yeah. Sorry, I just was looking at a comment.
No, I was reading.
Yeah, a couple quick comments from the chat. Go ahead and.
I'm trying to tie the comments into the chat comments into our conversation, and so Too Deep says high caliber receivers don't want to play with a run first quarterback, and so I'm not exactly sure where that fit in, but that's true. That's very true statement.
I mean, I guess it fits in with Lamar Jackson because he's a very run first quarterback. So I think it's going to be hard. I think that would be an issue as well, that all these receivers don't want to play with somebody that is very run focused.
Yeah, instead
of spreading out the ball.
Makes sense. Thank you.
And then Brandy said,
Brandy adds, will a run first quarterback hold up to a 4 to 5 year contract?
I think Lamar can. I mean, he's pretty good. He's pretty good at being elusive, at avoiding like really big hits. I think he's really smart about it. Some quarterbacks who will run, like Josh Allen, are like, come and hit me, I'll take a big hit. And like Joe Burrow's like, I'll get hit a million times. Like, no, you guys don't do that.
Don't do that.
I think Lamar Jackson's a lot smarter about contact and about not taking big hits. So
he's injury prone.
But he's injury prone.
He seems to be. Yeah.
He seems to be. He seems to be.
A little more fragile. Yeah.
Such a fascinating situation.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, yeah, my next
Maddie.
superlative, as I mentioned, of course, the big news. We had the Gutekunst stuff, and then the Lafleur stuff. And so, this is my best reaction to Lafleur news. This was an article that Bill Huber wrote for SI.com. It was Lafleur delivers fitting goodbye to Rodgers. So he started by focusing on the comment that Matt Lafleur said, basically about like, I can't remember if this is exactly the words, but basically like Aaron Rodgers has made a lot of people a lot of money in the time that he's been in Green Bay. And so Bill like really dug into that, talked about like, think about this person who has a career because of Aaron Rodgers. Think about this person and this person and this person and this person. Just going down the list just to hit some of like the highlights. And it was such an important perspective for me to hear, because in the you know the day-to-day immediate feelings about Rodgers and are kind of like, you know, kind of over him and kind of annoyed and kind of like, just let's like move on and all that kind of stuff. But like, you take that step back, you think like, what has Aaron Rodgers meant to the fans, to the team, to the people whose careers he's made just by being, you know, by touching them, you know, basically. And it's really amazing. It gives you a chance to just kind of say, man, it is amazing that we had him playing for our team at all, and especially for so long, and all the good that came from that. And like, let's just take a minute and like really recognize that and celebrate that. So I love the way how Bill dug into that and helped a lot of us to reflect on it. That made an impact for me, I think, a lot. So typical excellent writing from Bill Huber on that.
It was fun to follow all of that. Did you have time to listen, Loren, to any of the press conferences from the annual meeting?
Honestly, no. Like I said, it's just been crazy for me personally. But I've seen bits and pieces, like people tweeting about it on Twitter, or things people have said. Like I think it was Matt LaFleur he was like, so what do you guys want to talk about? And I thought it was super funny. I thought that made me laugh. But going back to Matt's superlative, I think that it's important to recognize what Rodgers has done for us and for others, being a Packer and playing for the Packers for so long. And I think you can do both that and also recognizing that it's time, like that you feel over him, you feel annoyed, whatever it is that you're feeling towards Rodgers. I think that a lot of people, they just want to see one thing. Like they just talk about seeing one thing and they don't see both sides. Like I feel like some Rodgers fans are like, you don't like, if you say something about him, they're like, you don't care about him or you don't appreciate what he's done. And it's not that it's not that people that don't like Rodgers or are over it or ready to move on don't appreciate what he's done. We just have conflicting opinions, conflicting feelings. And I think that's important to realize, that you can have both. You can believe both things.
Yes. That is so well said. And we can see both sides of a thing. We can have more than one emotion happening at the same time about a situation. If we try to devote ourselves just to like one viewpoint or one emotion, we're cutting ourselves off from like a better, more richer experience and understanding. So yeah.
It's limiting.
Loren.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm bringing a best meme also. From Sam at Sandwich. Yes.
We love Sam.
I forgot. I don't know what movie this is from. It's a guy with the curly wild hair, and there's this guy sitting on a bed and he's pointing the gun at him, and then he shoots the guy dead, and the guy's dead laying on the bed. And Sam puts in there, so the first scene is his own time with the Packers. In other words, his legacy, right? His legacy with the Packers. And then he shoots the guy dead. Rodgers, of course, is the one pointed gun.
Okay.
And then the last scene is Rodgers looking at the camera saying, "Why did Brian Gutekunst do this?"
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I think, is that Eric? Is it Eric Andre? Is that who you're thinking of?
Is it
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, from
I
his
remember
first
that
TV
movie.
show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're
What
talking
movie
about.
was it? I didn't
What?
hear.
What?
Oh, what movie was it from?
Oh, I think it's from Eric Andre's TV show.
Oh, a TV show. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
If I'm thinking of the same meme, because actually I didn't see this one. I was
It's
going
hilarious.
to our show notes to see if I can find like a link to it.
I don't know why I don't have the link there. I just have Sandwich's link. So yeah,
Awesome.
it was hilarious. I mean, I don't know the character or anything, but it made the point very clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it did. It sounds like
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah, it's a pattern. This
Mhm.
dude
Mhm.
has a
Mhm.
pattern of doing this kind of thing. All right. But it was funny. I think we need to laugh and enjoy the ride, right?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That's the thing that Pecker's Twitter is so good for. There's so many hilarious people who are
Mhm.
contribute stuff to it. I mean, we've already mentioned, Sam and Aaron, and I kind of mentioned Monty earlier, like those three alone, and
Mhm.
plus, with the show they do, Last Call Lambo, like, yeah, putting the funny stuff out there. It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh.
It
It's
is.
so good to laugh. It's so good to
It is.
Okay, Maddie. Let's see. Is it Maddie's turn? No,
Nope.
is it
It's Lauren's turn.
Nope.
My turn?
It's Lauren's
Maddie's-
turn.
Okay, it's my turn.
Lauren's turn.
Okay, for the last one, I did best
Okay.
video. So this week, Damar Hamlin, he went to Congress and he talked about increasing defibrillators in schools. And I just liked how he used an experience that is definitely traumatizing to inspire others to do things that we really should have already been doing. And I just love Damar Hamlin. Like,
Mhm.
he's just a great person. And
Yeah.
I just like that he's using his platform to do great things. That's what I love when players use their platforms to do things like that and other things that different players have done. So that's my best video. And yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
I love
Absolutely.
that. I did not catch that. So thank you for bringing that one up because I usually
Yeah, I
catch
think
things.
it just happened maybe yesterday or today.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to Congress. He met with a bunch of congressmen, and they're discussing a bill to increase defibrillators in schools, which I think is a great thing.
Right. And I know he talked about doing some things along those lines with his experience or from
Mhm.
because of his experience. I bet the video is available on C-SPAN in replay.
Yes, and it's
Okay.
also on Twitter and
Okay.
things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll make sure to get a link to that in our
Yeah,
show
I have the
notes then.
link on the.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice. Thank you.
athletes using their platform for good.
Mhm.
You love to see it. Athletes using their platform to talk about
Yeah, maybe we
conspiracy
should have
theories.
let off.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just platform for things, are controversial and probably not the right stance, but that's on them.
That's right. Exactly. We all know what we're saying. So, all right. Well, my last one is basically just a tribute to our friend Erin Alice, because today is her birthday as we're recording this on Thursday. But I do want to specifically single out a thread that she did. It was so good. It was like just Pack Daddy, Ryan Schlip had said something like he really wants to see Sean Astin play Brian Gutekunst when they eventually make a biopic of his life. And so Aaron went through and took all these iconic Sean Astin film roles and then spliced Brian Gutekunst's face onto the character. And first of all, that's hilarious. But second of all, it was done so well, and it looks like real, almost like it's actually Brian Gutekunst in these roles. Because though there's the running joke that Aaron's amazing at jersey swaps because she'll take paint program and do the most basic first grader kind of did this kind of thing with them, and the joke is that it's awesome, it's hilarious, but these actually look professional, and so they were hilarious, they were well done, they were typical amazing stuff from Aaron. So Aaron, you make me laugh every day. Happy birthday to you. We all love you so much.
Yes,
very much. We love Aaron. I love that. I saw that. I again don't know most of these characters, but I got the point. So funny. Gotta laugh. All right. So my final don't know what to call this superlative. I have many options. So let's just call it the most fun name. This is also some NFL news. It doesn't have anything necessarily to do with the Packers. Steve Apostolopoulos makes a fully funded $6 billion bid for the Commanders. So evidently there are two billionaires that have offered $6 billion to Dan Snyder, as well as Bezos and some other people who have offered him a fortune to buy the team. It hasn't happened yet, which is kind of interesting. And so once again, I'm kind of keeping my eye on this. And because of that, because there's more and more offers coming in, I don't think there's going to be a problem with him being able to sell it. There's some pressure being put on, not a ton of it, but by some certain people, to get Mary Jo White's report released. Finally, Mary Jo White's report still hasn't been released already. So if he sells the team, is it even going to be less likely that we see that report? Because he just goes away then, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm keeping my eye on all these bids and what is going on, because release the report, Roger Goodell. Come on, she had to finish it by now. So there's that. There's my little.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't sell the team, because here's some news. The Angels owner tried to sell the team, and he had like $8 billion bids, and like more than $8 billion bids, and out of nowhere he decided he wasn't done, and he took it off market. So now he's not selling the team. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like Dan does something like that, because I don't know. He just reminds me so much of the Angels owner that honestly, to me, I wouldn't be surprised if he's just like, I don't really want
to. Right.
Yeah, so, seriously.
Yeah.
Man, Dawn, way to stick the landing on Apostolopoulos. You nailed that. That is
Apostolopoulos.
I heard you say, I was like, okay, okay. I'm gonna say it to myself a few times so I can actually say it. Apostolopoulos. There it is.
I don't even think I can say it. I'm not even gonna try.
Letters.
There's a thing, Loren, that Dawn said a few weeks ago, is like to remind us all that there's like this ongoing unresolved scandal, like with the report that you're talking about there, Dawn. So this is another good like reminder, like, yeah, that's right, that's not resolved yet. That's still a thing, and like let's not try to cover this up with selling the team.
Yeah,
Roger
that's
Goodell.
my little backdoor way of reminding everybody that that's not been released yet. But there's also, and to Loren's excellent point, there was a lot of talk about Dan Snyder really not wanting to ever sell the team, or to keep a certain percentage so that and also keep control. So to get the money in. Yeah. So who knows? But release the report.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
A lot of these owners of sports teams are like arrogant, I guess, and they don't want to give over that control. So a lot of them are like, oh, I should do it, and then all of a sudden they realize how serious it is and how they're going to lose control, and they're not going to be part of the team anymore, and they're like, or making that money, because it's all about money for them, making that money. So they're like, I'm not going to do it anymore, and then it just messes everything up, because there's a reason why people are calling for them to sell a team. People are not just saying sell a team because they don't like that person. A lot of times people do say that, but there's also reasons behind why they want a team to be sold.
Sure. For sure. It's big money. That's for sure. It's big money. There's a lot of reporting on how the other owners in the NFL are really tired of Dan Snyder, though, being part of the 32. It's a small group. And so, it's interesting. If we could only be a fly on the wall sometimes. And Brandy in our chat says the purpose of getting a new owner for the Commanders is to make the NFL have way better optics. Right. And I think that the NFL, the other owners, it worries them too. It worries them what's going to happen. So there's a lot to this.
Mm-hmm.
But he did seem to, I mean, there's a reason he's being pursued in like 5 different courts right now for different things or variations on the same theme.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that makes him more likely to sell the team than versus like I said, the Angels owner, because he has criminal charges and things going on in the courts, versus like the Angels owner who doesn't have any of that. So I think I would see why he would sell, but at the same time, I also see why he wouldn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he could have sold it by now for sure.
Yeah, he could have sold it by now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's had offers, lots of big offers. I think Bezos would just give him anything he asked for, practically.
Bezos wants to run the world, so it wouldn't surprise.
Wow. Oh, that's right. Well, Loren, it's been so great. Did we get everybody's superlatives in?
I got mine in.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so it's so great to have you, Loren, as a guest this week. And do you have any final thoughts before we start our little sign off?
No, I just hope we have a fun Packer season when it comes in August and September, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Jordan Love does, and I'm honestly ready for the Packers and the Jets to make this trade. Like, let's go. So that's all I have to say. It's been great, being on with you guys. I love you guys, and thank you for inviting me.
Loren, we love you too. This has been so good to have the chance to get to know you better and talk to you. This has been so great. And I'm looking forward to seeing on Twitter about how it goes with you going to your first game at Lambeau this coming season. And maybe we'll be at the same game. That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Fan of that. So anyhow, this has been great. Dawn, any other fast thoughts before I
just
hit the sign off?
Yeah. Thanks again. Yeah, bring us along for your trip to Lambeau for your graduation. Want to see lots of pictures when you graduate. It's so good. I've been always wondering, it's like, why did she go to DC? What is she doing? And so it's kind of nice to be able to just talk to you about these things and get to know you a little bit better. You have lots and lots of followers on Twitter, and I'm sure they would like to get to know you a little better as well. Yes. And it's just been adorable. It's just been great. You're adorable and sweet, and we love you very much.
Yes. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, friends, make sure you are following Loren on Twitter. That is at PackersLoren, Loren. And of course, you'll find links in our show description for everyone we mentioned, so please check it out. And whether you're a super fan or a content creator, we'd love to have the chance to interview you. So if you're a subscriber, our DMs are open at Hey Willip on all the social platforms. We'd love to hear from you or someone you'd like to nominate to be a guest on our podcast this year. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right, because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. Mm-hmm. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.